On this episode of the Squad Plug, episode 32, we do a review of the grifters the past year and a half. We go over names like Joe Sullivan, Joe Stanek, Nico Flores, Kate Haddad, too buff for this, aka Ashton Bailey, and also, who else?
That's it. There's 5.
Is that the 5? That's the 5.
Yep. And also we do rating, I guess.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff. So tune in, like, comment, subscribe, share. This is our last episode of 2024. Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2025.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Squat Plug, episode 32. It's been a while since we've released a pod, but here we are at the end of the year. We're going to do a little Grifters in review. We're going to talk about what we've been doing the past year, some upcoming things we have for 2025. As always, I'm joined by the beautiful bald man, Yuli Muyai, and Mr. Mateo. I'll hand it over to you guys.
So yeah, I think maybe this year we do a little recap or a review of the grifters we discussed in the past. Talk about where they're at, things that have happened, and so on and so forth. Just maybe just bring them up again.
I think it's always worth bringing them up again because
it is.
We will release an episode or a post or both saying, "Hey, this person is a really bad person."
Yes.
And then people will go, "Oh my God, that's crazy!" And then a month goes by and they're still double tapping that person's post. So, I think people need to be reminded.
I agree. Maybe also put out some awards, like maybe I guess like the worst grifter, the fucking biggest creep, the most dick pics per fucking per DM fucking ratio, or some shit like that.
It was dollars stolen per follower. per follower.
Okay, so people we've covered this past year. We started off with Joe Sullivan and Kate Haddad. I think our episode after that, if memory serves correctly, was Joe Stanek. The episode after that was on on Too Pedo for This, yes. Ashton Bailey. And then the last episode of the year was Nico Flores, and that really took off. So I think maybe it's important, I guess, to go back to see exactly what took place, because we do these episodes and it becomes a stir in the community, that kind of shit, and people are all up in arms and so on and so forth. And the question is, what's the aftermath of that, right? Well, to go back, Kate Haddad, absolutely nothing has happened to this woman. She still finds herself in like different pockets of powerlifting, shows up to meets and so on and so forth, like handles people, that kind of shit. People in New Jersey, from what they've been telling me, is that she admits the fact that she did the scam and so on and so forth, but she's moving on with her life. She's not paid people back for the money that she owes. She basically hasn't gone on to publicly apologize to anything of that nature. She hasn't done any time. There have been 0 jail penalties. And speaking to New Jersey authorities, because I had a conversation with Patterson PD about this, the evidence is indeed compelling. The issue, what it seems to be, is the fact that when you sit down in court with a woman who's a mother of 2 different kids, who's been a part of a church and so on and so forth, has been known for going on rants about like fucking suffering from narcissist abuse and all that kind of shit. Who's she suffering narcissism abuse from? Doesn't she love her husband?
She's
her
suffering.
pastor husband?
She's suffering from her own success.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, So that kind of shit. But so it makes it to be a tough case to present in court from what I've been hearing. She's extremely manipulative. People understand that and whatnot. So the officers I spoke to and whatnot, she has a mom card to play and so on and so forth. And so it just makes it very tough for people to work on this in a court of law. And Patterson PD is like isn't going to pick up a case, bring it to court knowing that knowing that there's a chance that they could lose it in any kind of jury that's out there. You have to imagine, like fucking holiday season or like whenever the year happens to be, so on and so forth. There's a lady on the court like crying about how she didn't mean to do this. It was a misunderstanding, things of that nature.
So
there's a shit ton of fucking like evidence that points in the opposite direction. Like you see her, I guess, like having conversations with people trying to hide stuff and so on and so forth. And once you start hiding like the shit that you're doing, that is fraud. That is textbook fraud. But now she can feign ignorance and that kind of shit. And her husband's also involved in it to an extent, and I can imagine she'd roll on him. There's so many different variables there. But many people understand exactly how much of a scammer she is. And from what I understand, though, I think the best part of this, if there's a good part of this, is from what I understand, this hasn't happened again.
For now.
So
I mean, I guess that's a W. A small W, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Or maybe she's laying low for a little while until it's completely gone out of people's minds. But again, we cannot speculate without, like, we cannot assume that she might do it again.
Yeah, I feel like it hasn't been long enough. In 10 years, if she hasn't done it again, then maybe we could say, all right.
We'll see
we had a small impact. She never did it again.
Yeah, we'll see what she does. She was talking about to people about moving to Florida and so on and so forth during the height of this, and it's something she's done before. She's from Massachusetts and she moved to New Jersey.
She's from my home state.
She was probably neighbors with you, Mark.
You know, she had a terrible USAPL meet, from what I understand, and because that one meet switched over to USPA and that kind of shit, and just basically did all kinds of crazy stuff. There are allegations that she may have stolen her programming style as a coach from her former coach, you know, and used that to coach other people. You know,
common.
Yeah,
typical.
Honestly, when it comes to that, that's almost typical for most coaches in powerlifting.
Yeah,
and like, I don't know if
not to that extent, literally copy paste.
I mean, a lot of coaches do it. A lot of coaches that are coached by big powerlifting coaches, they just, when they start their own coaching business, they just basically take their template, copy paste. So
like the MLM coaching.
Yes, yes, but it's almost like a typical like a beginner powerlifting coach like thing. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know.
But the plot thickens because on her website, she had a list of certifications that she had
that aren't real.
That were not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So she is a fraud at many levels over here. This isn't just this fucking saying, you know, like some charity, whatever, you know, and it was like 3 or 4 charities she defrauded, by the way. It's her also being a fraud in her day-to-day operations. She's not qualified for the shit she claims to be qualified for and the way she claims to be qualified for it.
Yeah.
You know, so she's a fraud, you know. I'm hoping she learned from this experience because it seems like fucking the justice system is absolutely fucking come to a screeching fucking halt these past few years, and it's gonna get worse in the next 4 years. But that's that update. Suicide charity scammer Kate Haddad, and the coaching scammer as well, has pretty much gone largely unpunished for this. And there are quite a few people in New Jersey quite upset at me. That said, some of her members of her coaching company have followed me recently. It seems like there may have been a falling out there. On to the next person.
You know what's crazy though is as bad as what she did, I still don't even think that earns her biggest grifter award.
I think
there's got to be some award. I'm trying to think of something for her.
Let's see. Let's
we'll come back to it.
Yes.
Okay.
So the next person is Joe Sullivan. So Joe Sullivan, during the time that we had him on the episode here, was hawking off whatchamacallit, a whole bunch of bathtub supplements, particularly ATP.
Joe is definitely a contender because just because of his big following.
Yes, he has a whole lot of reach, a whole lot of impact. So things we found out about Joe, and we talked about in the episode was ATP, how the fact it's not fucking, there's no certification for it, there's no process to vet it, where the case is just basically these guys saying this is a product, we're putting it out there, and take our word for it, it's safe. Okay.
Not to mention, if you understand the physiological process of how ATP works, you would know that you cannot just inject ATP to increase the uptake or the availability of the bioavailability of ATP just because you inject it into your bloodstream, or not, or just in into your skin or something like that. Just that is such a massive grift. It's not even funny.
So so he was basically confronted with the entire thing, and he came with some straw man arguments against it, that kind of stuff, yada yada. And he was saying that Jake is the best coach in powerlifting, and he's a good person, blah blah. Well, come to find out, Jake was sleeping with his clients. Jake was married to his wife, Kiki.
Hold on, Jake who?
Jake Benson, Joe's coach. So he's a person, the actual founder of Better Through Biology. A person who has not completed an undergraduate degree, but who went on record and said his teachers thought that he was a great student, so on and so forth. And there were pictures of Joe Sullivan with Jake Benson, memeing us and flipping us the bird and that kind of shit in airplanes because they're tight, they're close buddies and so on and so forth. They had the biggest fucking falling out ever. If you notice the fact that he's no longer adding him, he's no longer mentioning whatnot, it's because he dropped him. The whole powerlifting scene has dropped Jake Benson.
I don't.
He
I
went
don't.
on.
I didn't even know who he was.
Yes,
2
so
minutes
he went
ago,
on a
so.
story rant a couple months ago talking about how he's basically dealing with heroin addiction and that kind of stuff and opiates and that kind of stuff. And from his crew, because I was out in Las Vegas, by the way, and happened to run into many people who were former Jake Benson people, and they said that was not the case. Some pretty big names in the bodybuilding and powerlifting industry, by the way. So the person he cheated on his wife with was one of his clients. I'm not going to name names here.
Okay, hold on though, because I'm a little. it's fine. No, it's fine. Wonderful. It's fine. I just need some clarification on something.
Because I'm sure the audience needs clarification as well.
So when you say that he was addicted to heroin or whatever,
that's what he said.
That's what he said that.
Yes.
And then
he went on a bipolar rant on his fucking
stories.
He
said that. Okay.
Like 24 hours. Like
okay, the way that you laid it out, it almost to me seemed like it was people in his community were creating some sort of smear campaign.
No. Much the opposite.
Okay. He said it.
Yes, he said it. He went on his stories for like a period about 24 hours and started went on a rant. Oh, I'm dealing with fucking heroin, like issues and that kind of stuff. I'm fucking
for what purpose?
Blah, blah. Who the fuck knows? It was like an aimless rant.
I think
and then he deleted everything.
Do you think he did that because like you said there was this big fallout between him and a lot of people, and then he was like, "This is," and then he tried to play the victim card, like this is why I'm having all these issues. Like, please feel bad for me.
Basically, pulling a Kevin Spacey.
Or maybe he was just trying to promote his.
I don't think anybody's old enough here to know the Kevin Spacey. I do, but
yeah, or maybe he was just.
Mateo, you know who Kevin Spacey is?
No idea. Never heard of this.
I knew it.
Is this some kind of?
You ever seen American Beauty, bro?
Yeah, bro, for sure.
Have you ever watched the movie from the 90s? Like it's Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Jesus, bro.
You ever seen any movie in the 90s?
In fact, any movie from up to the early mid 2000s.
Is Top Gun from the 90s? That's all I can remember.
It's 80s.
I know move from the 80s. You see.
Yeah, so that kind of shit. So he has a falling out, yada yada, and just insane to watch this all taking place. Now the company still exists. From what I understand, Jake Benson's been, from what I understand, I may be wrong on this, but what I was told is he's been removed. So his wife still owns it because it's under her name apparently. So she's still operating it. She's still pumping out these fucking dumbass fucking supplements and that kind of shit, which is just as unregulated in the past. You know. She has a track record.
He apparently went beyond the supplements.
Yes, yes. So, well, it's the same shit I guess with her. Like, if you look at let me actually look at the stuff that they have on the website right now. Nectar, which is the bullshit they made. Glutathione, iridescence, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. Peak VO2, Aphrodite.
Oh my god.
Data, NAD+, L-carnitine, max uptake, GTB glutathione transport, ATP still being sold by the way, $62 by the way. BAC water, backwater. Bro, Nectar 3-2 shirt. Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
How much do these things cost?
I'll tell you right now. So we're looking at prices. Nectar is $55. Iridescence is $90.
Is this like per vial or what?
Per vial. And each vial...
Jesus.
I can't tell you. So iridescence is... Key components of iridescence. Bicarbonate. Dimethylglycine. Phosphocreatine. Carnitine. Citicoline, ATP.
I'm surprised they don't sell dihydrogen monoxide.
AKA H2O.
Water.
You know, like none of this is any studies behind it. None of this is any serious studies that could basically vouch for its fucking benefit and whatnot, and like work and it together and whatnot, and like what you call in conjunction with one another. There isn't anything else to support its use. This is experimental horseshit.
It's just it's theoretical mechanisms. It's like you create this you do these mental gymnastics. You go, okay, well I have like these few mechanisms in mind. And if I, connect all these dots, this is the outcome that it's going to produce, even though that there are no human data that show that these outcomes happen based on taking these compounds. So.
And so that's the chemical stuff that we initially roasted them on that kind of stuff. There's also the hypocrisy stuff. Now this goes back to Joe Sullivan. I want to say about 1.5 years ago, there was a person who competed at a fight or quit meet and had an incident where he tore his hamstring as he was mid squat, and he ended up basically launching himself out of it, dumped the bar. Some kid ended up getting catastrophically injured, cut off one of his fingers and that kind of shit. And that happened. And Joe Sullivan was in his comments. It's still there today. Talking shit about this kid, how you must never dump the bar, you must hold on to the bar,
I remember.
all that kind of stuff, right? So a couple months ago, Joe has a client lifting at a meet. And what does his client do?
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
He dumps the bar. And Joe says, oh, it happens. These things take place. And yeah, blah, blah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. When it's your client doing it, it's perfectly fine. Okay, that's fucking fantastic. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. But the next other thing over here for hypocrisy and all kind of crazy shit, whatnot, to show you just how much of a scumbag he is, reports are coming out of Fighter Quit Gym that Joe Sullivan went in and started measuring platforms, like which we call them, the combo racks and that kind of stuff, because he was suing Fighter Quit Gym for a sustained quote-unquote meniscus tear or meniscus injury, a knee injury of some sort and whatnot, that took place while he was training there.
What the fuck does the size of the platform have to do with that?
I have no idea. So basically, he's like trying to sue them and whatnot. And from what I understand, there was a bit of an issue, and people told me that that Micah had kicked out both both Briani and Joe Sullivan over the entire situation. One of Joe Sullivan's clients actually dumped him in the aftermath of this. He trains at Fighter Quit as well. And just fucking a whole bunch of insanity here. I mean, Micah is actually somebody who was one of Joe's only defenders for the longest time. When it came down to the shit that was taking place. He was actually one of his friends, one of his confidants, right? And this is what he does to them. So nothing's gotten better with Joe. If anything, he may have gotten worse in many degrees. That whole circle is just basically a fucking noxious fucking cesspit of fucking humanity. Just absolutely fucking disgusting human beings. I swear to fucking God. It's fucking revolting.
Is he still revolting? I'm sorry. Is he still on OnlyFans by any chance? Do you know that?
Yeah, we know about
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Nasty Ned.
Nasty Ned, yes. Is he still on OnlyFans right now? Maybe he's back.
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, if he's suing people,
he got so lambasted from the OnlyFans that he took it down very quickly. Like if you're on an airplane, you're talking about how you want to make money off of fucking jerking off, and send me money if you want to see me jerk off.
You nasty motherfucker.
Pretty fucking nasty. We have the screenshot.
Yeah, at least be classy with it, like Andy Huang.
Oh,
hold on a second. What?
Oh, you don't know?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Just pull up his page and go into his link tree.
Oh, untested. Damn it, untested. God damn it,
you can
untested.
probably find on Twitter for free. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you can't kink shame. It is what it is.
No, man, I'm not kink shaming at all.
At the very least, Andy Huang isn't pretending to put on a wholesome demeanor. Trying to put himself at the kitchen table of every fucking house in America. Off the I'm Mr. America. You know what I mean? That kind of shit.
At the very least, he's not doing illegal things. Well, and he doesn't post illegal things on his OnlyFans, I think.
Oh wait, it's gone.
Oh,
is it gone?
So
interesting.
We get it.
Hold on though.
Strike.
No, let's keep this.
You want to keep it?
Yeah, the discovery. It's now MIA. So it was taken down.
That's interesting. Okay. Hey, maybe they made enough money and went.
I was thinking.
That's all we need. Or maybe just realized it was like too much, which is fine. Teach on. If a person does OnlyFans and that kind of shit, that's their prerogative. It's their business, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
My issue with Joe Sullivan is the fact that he puts on this wholesome.
Oh yeah, I am by no means equating those two people at all. By no means.
I'm telling you, and also at the end of the day, you can do OnlyFans, but you can't be jerking off in an airplane for your.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, dude. Yeah,
it's fucking bizarre shit.
Do your OnlyFans and behind the scenes in your own home or whatever.
With the whole OnlyFans situation, my only beef with it was the fact that he was presenting this wholesome demeanor while going ahead and doing that kind of shit. And he likes to whitewash his history and the stuff he's done in the past, and just it's fucking insane horseshit. We could go on and on about this, like smaller stories and that kind of shit. Just it's not worth it. No. There's been zero change in that front. They've gotten, if anything, worse as people. And speaking of the OnlyFans thing, I think Briani became a born-again Christian. He was baptized and that kind of stuff. And then a week or two later, something like that, some very short time frame afterwards, is posting some very, some very provocative photos and promoting her OnlyFans with, what's her name again? The female powerlifter, the strong powerlifter, I like as a person. Well, liked, past tense. Who's part of that clique? Hunter?
Oh, Hunter Henderson?
Yes, Hunter Henderson. Yeah, so post a photo with her and whatnot. They're basically butt-ass naked with fucking thongs on and shit like that.
I could see how that could be somebody's cup of tea. Definitely not mine.
Yes. So that same, and oddly enough, it ties back into this again. The person who Jake Benson had slept with, his client, also went ahead to be a fucking born-again Christian, did the whole fucking baptizing thing and that kind of shit. It's weird how we see these little things taking place over here. And I was the bad guy in the situation because I
There,
asked questions.
there are no links in the bio, though. I just checked.
For Andy?
For Brianni.
I mean,
There were. I mean, we could probably find them still.
probably
You scroll through
right
account
now.
and whatnot, you go back
Just saying, like, as of right now.
copy. So either way, that was back then. That's them. I guess moving on to the next person here. Joe Stanek. There's actually been some interesting turnarounds over here.
He might be the only one that
As
maybe reflected on his misdeeds and maybe saw some light.
So there's more context to this in many ways that I can't really discuss, which paint a fuller picture of what transpired there. Things that happened between Game Day and him. Game Day Barbell, which currently still exists. At the end of the day, his not paying his clients back for the services he wasn't rendering, that is an issue that did take place. And he's acknowledged it as well. I've spoken to Joe Stanek.
I know.
I spoke to him, and the audience may not know.
True.
You know, so at Raw Nationals, I had a long conversation with him. And he wants to redeem his character. He wants to redeem his image in the public. And I'm all for redemption. I told him what it comes down to essentially is just paying those people back. That's it. I'm not the arbiter of justice, nothing of nature, shit like that. I'm not fucking, the powerlifting fucking sheriff, none of that stuff, I bring things out of here because frankly it's shit that I find important to discuss. So he's been I've been in contact with him sporadically ever since, right? And a very big lifter put me in touch with him, or at least got the ball rolling there. I asked this guy a couple of questions, that kind of stuff. He said, just so you know, there's a different side of the story, yada, yada. I don't know. I can't go into too much detail over here, but there is further context into what took place. Essentially, his hands were tied when it came out to financial stuff. So he couldn't really pay people back and whatnot. There's further context and some other things that took place, and I'm going to say, some less than intelligent spending on his part, which may have made that worse. But I think the thing is that he's realized that he made those mistakes, and he's trying to correct them. I don't know if it makes them redeemable because I've yet to see those mistakes being corrected. If and when I see those mistakes corrected, when I hear from the people, the victims themselves, that it happened, then I wouldn't be like opposed to like fucking clearing his name. To be honest, we make mistakes, we fuck up as human beings. Even fuck ups that big. I think everybody deserves a second chance. This would be his third chance because he did similar shit to TSA back in the day. But I think people need an opportunity just like to redeem themselves, and I hope that Stanek does the right thing, and I hope he does redeem himself. It's
I
not
agree with
easy.
you.
The situation
agree.
isn't right now. Like the financial like fucking burden he has, according to him, is great enough that it can make it tough to do so and whatnot. But if you as a man put yourself in that situation, it's up to you to get yourself out of that situation.
I agree. I don't necessarily I don't think he did anything that's like irredeemable. So as long as he takes the right steps and does the right things, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
On to the next person. Ashton Bailey, aka Too Buff for This,
Irredeemable.
aka Too Pedo for This,
Irredeemable.
Condemned.
Condemned.
Yep, condemned.
Yep.
Irredeemable.
I mean, ripping people off, absolutely not cool. Sending underage girls pictures of your penis, very not cool at all. Very irredeemable in my book.
So what took place there with those underage girls? Like, I don't have evidence to show that. Elizabeth has spoken about some crazy things taking place.
All right, then I don't want to say. I shouldn't say that. Then
strike
strike
that.
that.
Saying their penis to women in general, that has happened, and we have evidence of it.
So if you're in communication with underage girls, right, similar to Matt Gates' situation, except Matt Gates fucked these girls. If you're in communication with underage girls on the pretext of having sex with them, and you're starting off with the whole coaching thing about bodybuilding and so on and so forth, and then their age because they disclose that age upon the fucking intake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you start having these sexual conversations and that kind of shit and whatnot. You're a fucking piece of shit scumbag, particularly if you wield that fucking clout. So in addition to that stuff that took place with the underage victim, You also have the about 180, like 160, 180, like messages I've had from other people and their situations and their exchanges with him. Women basically who suffer from cancer. Women like who are married. Women like what you call it with boyfriends and so on and so forth. Women with kids, all kinds of people. And he basically like started off the whole friendship thing, and people like legit they just respond to his like like his DMs, just like out of friendship, and he immediately turned sexual.
Yeah.
There was a woman who liked one of his comments and ended up with a jerk off video in her fucking DMs. Like I want to say, like fucking, 15 to 20 seconds after that.
Oh yeah, you like my comment? You want to see how I struck my dick? Yeah.
Yeah, like even like if you're of age, that's still incredibly creepy. Yes. What the fuck are you doing?
I think what he's probably, again, I cannot say for a fact, but what I am assuming is that the fact that he has a lot of followers, he thinks gives him the capability of just doing this shit because he's well known.
Like he thinks it justifies it.
Yeah, so people are gonna be like, he thinks that these women are gonna be like, oh my god, yes, he has so many followers, so let me see his dick. I really want to see his dick just because he has all these followers.
He's got that Trump mentality.
Yes,
they'll let you do anything. You can grab them by the pussy.
That's basically what it comes down to.
I think so.
But it gets worse because like the women who I was speaking to were talking about the fact one of the reasons why they basically went along with the stuff to whatever extent before shutting it down. Everybody that I spoke to shut it down. They're in my DMs for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. We're also afraid of getting lashback from him and him roasting them on his account. And so they played along with it. So there is a power dynamic here.
Yeah.
There's a definite fucking power dynamic here. Fear's a part of this. And this fucking asshole is still out there fucking posting his stupid ass, lame ass fucking jokes. The stupidest, lowest fucking, IQ
it's
fucking
literally
shit
the same joke every time.
Every single fucking time. This degenerate piece of shit.
It's still the same thing because like I'll see his posts sometimes and like the images will pop up, right? Like the little like the videos he cuts to like of people laughing or you know what I mean? He puts his stuff together. It's the same thing every single fucking time.
Very low IQ, very unintelligent individual.
I mean, he actually, from what I remember, there was like a small period of time where he was trying to make wholesome content, quote unquote. Like he would post like a wholesome-ish post every once in a while, and then he'd go back to his normal thirst trap. Yeah.
What I wish is that the people who were in fear of being roasted by him sort of had this understanding that the things that he was doing is way more roastable, right? And that info in the hands of the right person and the right reach, the right following, like that could go another way for him.
Unfortunately, that did not go that way, and
though. I'm saying
it could, but the person with the reach and the following and who actually does this actively decided to not do so and decided to shield and to defend this person.
Yep. And that's not necessarily what I was referring to. I was kind of thinking more abstractly, like if we did put that into the hands of someone with a massive following.
But just imagine this is the logic that informed my decision reaching out to a certain somebody, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Which nothing happened.
Exactly, and goes to show exactly like the I want to say the character of that individual as well, because this motherfucker is going through two current.
And then there's that relationship with the supplement company.
Yes, I agree.
So
I know it's nefarious.
Precisely.
Yes, and when First Form had a very interesting statement that their CEO made recently and shit like that. Guess who came to his defense? Same individual. Anyway,
Vicinirous, as Lawrence Johnson would say.
But irredeemable people. I don't see that ever getting better and whatnot. He's taking zero ownership, zero responsibility. Every time somebody brings up in his comment section, whenever somebody brings up in his DMs, he instantly blocks these people. When you have hundreds of thousands of followers and whatnot, and you hit the block button, you can get away with this shit.
Oh, you absolutely can.
That's what you learn. So absolutely.
And then, like, there's so many people who know but don't want to rock the boat.
Yes.
And
so I also spoke to authorities, by the way. And so I spoke to Jacksonville PD, and I had the DMs, I had the screenshots, and all that kind of stuff. You know what Jacksonville PD said? To take it up with NYPD.
How does that make any sense?
Most convoluted fucking logic in the face of this fucking earth. I swear to goodness. I'm like, all right. So let me get this straight. The perpetrator is from your jurisdiction. Did this to somebody who lives in Canada, and I'm supposed to report to NYPD because I live in New York. So I spoke to NYPD about this as well. It's out of their jurisdiction too.
I mean, I have a lot I could say, but I'm not going to.
I know. Like,
they're not the good guys.
They really aren't. Like, and I love my cop friends and whatnot, but as overall, in the bigger picture, is a bigger scheme of things, there's no more of an inert, I'm gonna say less active force in justice than fucking PD.
Yep. It's you could like certain individuals within that institution, and that's perfectly fine. But the institution itself is the problem.
Absolutely
trash. Yes.
Absolutely trash. Absolutely trash. Just for further context, like if cops are making six figures and so on and so forth, they're out there not responding to fucking emergencies or taking a sweet fucking time to do so. Who the fuck put that gun to your head to tell you to fucking do this? You chose this fucking vocation. Do I want to respond to fucking bullshit calls at 3 o'clock in the morning and whatnot? No, but we're there in 2 minutes or less. I signed up for the job that I have for a reason. So when people talk about how tough they have and so on and so forth, you chose that. You're fully aware, self-selecting human being. The onus is on you. Why did you choose a job in that case? Do your fucking job.
It's two totally different things in my eyes, though. You're actually doing good in the community.
Thank you. I think police. I think the police.
I don't. I could disagree on that. I don't think they do any good.
I hear no, but hear me out though. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. I'm saying I think they have the opportunity to have a great impact upon our community. I know some cops who bust their asses legit to do right by the people who they serve. I agree,
and then they usually get ousted from the community. The Blue Brotherhood. There was actually an incredible, and I know we're going off topic here, but there was an incredible article floating around in 2020 during the pandemic, and people could still go find it, but it's titled "Confessions of a Bastard Cop," and it's an article written by a former police officer that was kicked off the force for trying to do the right thing. He noticed some corruption, some not so good things happening. He tried to speak out about it. He was ousted from the community. And he basically speaks about his entire experience with it. So yeah, it's just that article's out there if anybody wants to read it.
I would like to read it if possible. But this situation, so PD really wants us to do this. And what complicates matters worse, and why I fucking washed my hands of the entire situation and stopped reporting upon it, is because if I have 160, 180 women in my DMs telling me their stories, why aren't they going to PD themselves at this point? Why aren't they themselves reporting upon the topic? If you have that many fucking people out there talking about the situation that's happened to that many people, out of 160, 180 people, why haven't they done so themselves? At some point in time, I can't be their fucking spokesman for justice if they choose to fucking to not act on this.
I totally agree.
The most damning of the interactions, by the way, between him and his fucking victims and so on and so forth, are the ones that I can't even fucking talk about in detail. Because
there is
request, because they told me to not speak about this.
I think that's a very common thing with victims of crimes that are sexual in nature. Yes. They don't want to speak out. They don't want to be that victim in the public eye.
Which I get to an extent, and I really do. Believe me, I get it. But if I'm fucking taking these fucking blows to the face over and over again on their fucking behalf, and they're doing nothing, I'm done with it.
I totally agree with you.
I'm done with it, legit. I care for this cause quite a bit. I've taken it on. I'm the only person in the powerlifting sphere who's actually discussed this.
I know.
Only person bringing it to light.
I know.
And much to the contrary, I've gotten quite a bit of derision. In fact, one of those victims actually ended up fucking unfollowing me, removing follow, that kind of stuff on my account. Interesting. You come to me with your story, and this is how you respond.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate.
Yep.
So it's just how things are. I don't expect praise. I'm not looking for praise. I'm doing what I find right in my heart. Right. That's where things come from. Because the fucking praise and that kind of shit doesn't mean fucking shit.
I don't think you're looking for praise. You're just trying to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Precisely. I have a daughter.
You see injustices within the community, and you want to not necessarily right those wrongs yourself, right? But you don't want to see other people in the community fall victim to the same thing.
Yes.
So you think, okay, well, if I tell everybody about this, if I expose this person, right, it'll make it very, very unlikely for those things to happen again. It's just, unfortunately, that's not how it works for some reason. I know. Maybe a little bit. I'm sure there is a small proportion of the community that thinks very similarly to how we're thinking. But I think
so. There's a large portion of the community that thinks the same way that we think, right? And
I shouldn't say small.
Yes.
It's
there's a large portion, and that large portion will say this, will complain and moan and grow and all that stuff, and then we'll fucking start. We'll continue to share his posts. We'll continue.
That's
to
what
interact with him.
People still send me subpar posts.
Yes.
I've been talking about that dude for fucking ever. And I've stopped as of late, but like people who know how I feel about him will send me his post and be like, look at this, it's hilarious. And I'm like, at this point, I just double tap it or laugh react. I'm over trying to say, here's why I don't like this person. Please stop sending me his posts. I just, haha, good stuff. Bye.
Yeah. Well, I still inform people the fact that he's a piece of shit.
But if it's people that I've already, is what I'm saying is it's people that I've already informed sending me that stuff. So what the fuck can I do? I keep telling you the same fucking thing.
The mind forgets.
So it's a testament to the whole fucking goldfish memory phenomenon which is taking place. You know, people just don't get. People are fucking zombies, man. If you can fucking vote for a fucking legit fucking sexual, he committed sexual assault, right? In New York, it's called sexual assault, and it's actually rape in every other jurisdiction, by the way. He raped a woman, and he's president of the United States right now, and people are okay with this. And then when you bring it up to them, like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, yes, you did. It's been every fucking news post for months of years.
Yeah, but how about the people who do know, but they'll just argue that it was libel in a civil case. He wasn't found guilty of rape in a court of law, like convicted of that. So like they'll make that argument. It's like, wow, you're a shitty person.
So that's your goalpost. That's the hill you want to die on.
It's like, well, technically by the law, it's like,
absolute fucking horseshit.
Nah, buddy.
Absolute horseshit. Not nothing else, but we have 380 million people who occupy this country, and that one individual is the person we choose to fucking represent all of us.
Not we. We didn't do that.
I mean,
we collectively, but not you or I.
I know. I certainly it wasn't me who voted for him. I'll tell you that. But just the cognitive dissonance in our society right now is through the fucking roof. I've never seen anything like this. Not to be like the fucking boomer, fucking like yelling at the clouds and that kind of shit. Get off my fucking lawn vibe and so on and so. But legitimately, there has been a degeneration in the overall fucking fabric of society. Things have gotten fucking worse.
You know what's? I have made a very interesting observation as of late, though. So right before the election and right after the election, Trump supporters were heavy in the comments. Ha ha ha, libs, we won, blah blah blah. But now, with all the him coming out saying I can't lower the grocery prices, and with the people now finally understanding what the tariffs are going to do, and now all of this infighting between the MAGA people and Elon Musk and everything, it's like what I'm not seeing now is Trump supporters in those comments saying the same things they were saying like on November 6th.
You know why? Because right now they're crying on fucking Reddit, talking about how I didn't vote for this. I feel betrayed.
I know.
This is the worst betrayal since Benedict Arnold.
I know. A betrayal. We told you. This was...
love it. I love it. I love that it's happening. Because this kills two birds with one stone. The Democrat Party, the fucking like douchebags that they are, shit like that, they fucking fall apart. They're unraveled. They're supposed to be, at least. Nancy Pelosi showing much the opposite. Or fucking like voting down AOC recently, and the fucking like House Representative shit and whatnot is a great indication they have learned nothing from this. But the Republican Party is at odds with itself, and as it takes the fucking the reins of power come January 20th and whatnot, I can't wait to see the spiral into fucking madness. Watch the party splinter into two fucking groups, which is already currently fucking happening.
There was someone shared an article, and the headline was like, poor Trump supporters are worried that he's going to take their benefits away, like the welfare that they receive from their state that helps them fucking survive.
80% of American Care Act, aka Obamacare recipients, 80% of them, 80% of you people are from red states. Only 20% are from blue states. So go ahead and think about this for just one fucking second.
I think they only thought that it was going to be the poor brown people that were going to be affected. They were like, not the poor whites, we'll be fine.
That's basically what it came down to.
He's going to take care of us.
Yes, and then but the issue now is you also had some of the rich browns also thinking that they were going to be the exception. You know, and now you see what takes place because Vivek is for the immigration bill. Now you have MAGA racists coming out in the fucking comments calling, fucking hitting them with racial slurs and all that kind of shit.
It's hilarious because he's like not even necessarily wrong.
He's not. H-1B visas like they fucking work, you know. Like legit, like fucking. I think it's an effective policy, but I do think we also need to fucking grow our fucking the education in the U.S. such that we field more fucking candidates for those roles. The fact that we need H-1B visas to keep these industries afloat is a fucking issue. Let's not make this a political podcast.
Yeah, right.
We could, but it's not worth it. But there are quite a few parallels between the mindset of somebody who's an Ashton liker and like an immediate forgetter and a person who's a Trump voter. The sound bites, the entertaining shit, that kind of stuff just basically allows them to fucking just rinse all that information, all that shit off their fucking brains and move on to re-engaging with those people. It's insane. This is what we call a lack of character. This is essentially what this is. If you're somebody basically who's a formless, shiftless fucking being, a fucking spineless jellyfish, and you can't learn from things, you can't add some kind of like fucking fiber to your fucking consistency as a human being and whatnot. What the fuck are you, bro? It's just a whole bunch of fucking like nothing losers out there. Like legitimately, that's essentially what this is. If you have somebody as pernicious as that, and you can't fucking you can't overlook them, you can't not like or engage their posts, you can't fucking you can't not vote for this person just because of how entertaining they are at that moment with them, while knowing everything they've done. What does it tell you about yourself as a human being? It's an indictment on each one of these people.
This reminds me of I saw a tweet from Elon Musk recently that was something along the lines of like if you can't, like it's not, you should be able to separate the person from the product, right? Where it's like, oh, well, who cares if the person that owns the product is like a bad person? Like if you like the product, still buy it. And it's like, I don't know. I don't really want to support people that that our values don't align, our morals don't align.
I agree.
And in some cases, like because of we live in this capitalistic hellscape, you can't avoid that, right? Like you can't avoid having a cell phone, for example.
Harry Potter, with J.K. Rowling and her fucking insane fucking takes. Orson Scott Card, like fucking Ender's Game, whatnot. He's like a fucking like a rampant homophobe, and he does so because he's afraid of people's like fucking damnation. But that's terrible shit. That's just his argument, at least. You go like one thing after the other, and just there's a litany of fucking shit that's taking place. And so Kanye West and his fucking like batshit insane fucking takes.
Correct.
Years,
like how can you still listen to his music?
Well, it's very listenable.
I was gonna say this.
Very listenable.
But I can't listen to him speak without thinking of how fucking batshit crazy he is.
I know. So I've actually
he wasn't crazy when he made that music. Crazy at least.
You see that's the argument we use for J.K. Rowling when it comes on to Harry Potter. I've stopped listening to that music, right? Because I can't condone it. There's so many other songs to listen to and that kind of stuff. His artistic brilliance is what it is. But it's actually it's the shit he says. It's to the detriment to many other people. When you deny the Holocaust, when you fucking talk about this insane fucking shit and these narratives and whatnot, which reflects poorly upon certain communities and whatnot. Why would you support that person? But either way, so that's
each their own, I guess.
The whole Ashton situation basically is its own little microcosm within itself, like its own weird little fucking, I want to say like a grifter shit of its own accord. It's like a different creature altogether because of how it ties into like American ideology and like the embedded at the internet ideology that's currently extant. It's insane.
Honestly, it's a good segue into the last Powergrifter.
And so,
because also from what I've seen, he's back on the internet.
Yes,
I was informed of that the other day. Actually, a client of mine. Yeah,
yes. Nico Flores is back. Ain Walls is back as well. Ain Walls was the person who had the the racial slurs in her like Excel sheet as she sent to her client. So I broke the story on that and whatnot, and then cloud accounts basically spread and so on and so forth and shit like that. Whatever. The whole racial epithet that was put in the Excel sheet and that kind of stuff. And she's back to posting as though it never happened. Nico Flores is back to posting as though it never happened. That said, Nico Flores, after having scammed Jeff and after having paid him back the $10,000, he actually ended up paying him back $10,000, by the way. This took place. This indeed did happen. I saw the check. It was presented. It was deposited, and it was received into Jeff's account. All taken care of. Done.
So, yeah, out of all the cases that we've covered, this is the only one that had a happy ending.
Yes, the actual resolution. Yep. Nico Flores no longer trains a game day barbell.
So he suffered some consequences of his actions.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, he did. I got a chance to speak to Tim Thibodeau on the matter. All right, and there were a couple of things taking place in addition to Nico Flores' situation behind the scenes. I really want to get into depth there. But everybody who had any hand in these situations taking place, right? The whole Nico Flores scamming Jeff Coe thing, the other stuff that took place behind the scenes. Those people have been removed from the company. They're no longer part of the company. They've been distanced. They're gone. They're pushed out of there. So kudos to him for making that happen. Kudos to him and Karan, who who seem to be doing the right thing. You know, Tim recently made a post talking about how, essentially it's like a black and white photo on one side, and it's like a colorful on the other side, like with the line between his face, like cutting in half, saying, "I'm hoping to leave this year behind," or something like that, right? Well, I hope they do. I hope they start off on a fresh foot. I hope they basically start off new and do the right thing by what you call the clients and the customers and that kind of stuff, and by the powerlifting community. I hope it doesn't happen again. And I also hope that us bringing this to light prevents it from happening elsewhere. Of note, since we brought these things to light here, I've heard a whole lot less about people being framed, I'm sorry, not framed, but scammed by their coaches and that kind of stuff in the powerlifting industry. A whole lot less reports have come to me. I want to say maybe like one or two, versus me hearing names all the fucking time about scam after scam after scam after scam.
Maybe these people are finally starting to realize that they could be publicly exposed.
Yes.
And that it's going to be a lot tougher to get away with stuff like that.
But it could also be the fact that a lot of those stories have been building up for like a couple of years, and they just brought them up to you like recently, and they all came at the same time.
To an extent, yes. Something that big. There was something recently that took place, I guess, like with a coach who's out in Austria.
Mm-hmm.
Very big IPF lifter.
Or ex-IPF lifter.
Ex-IPF lifter, currently lives in Dubai. It's a little bit more complicated. And one of his partners basically came up and disclosed all the shit that's taking place behind the scenes there. And then one of his other partners, on the other hand, though, is fucking pleading the fifth, essentially. So I can't really report upon it until I have that person play ball, where the case happens to be, or find enough over here to move forward on this. But that was taking place, and now that has stopped.
Yeah.
So it looks like the disturbance and the force was felt, sufficiently enough so that if I can put those things to a halt. So it seems like there are some benefits from the stuff that we do here. We are indeed making a change, and we do have an impact in the scene itself of powerlifting and the strength sports. People are learning from this, and the bad guys are doing less. It's diminishing that stuff. With whatever fucking reach that we have, whatever limited reach, and what that seems to be working. I can only imagine if we had more reach, what we'd be capable of doing. So I have to say, when it comes to this matter and whatnot, it's not possible without the support of the people out there and what they've provided us with. It's not possible without you guys. Legit, we work together on these things and whatnot. And I know there's it's not easy at times to deal with the onus of being that person. But it does pay off. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. I appreciate what the audience does and the supporters that we have on Instagram and elsewhere and so on and so forth. Thank you guys. There are quite a few reshares on the Nico situation on TikTok as well. It means a lot, but the ultimate aim here isn't clout. It isn't reach. It isn't anything of that nature. It comes down to basically making sure this doesn't happen again, to other people, and however many facets and many different ways that people get scammed and taken advantage of.
And I think also, like, I get really frustrated because I put so much time and effort into making sure that I'm a really good coach and that I do right by people. And then I see others in this field, scamming and doing whatever. And it really, really frustrates me. And like, I know that coaching as an entity is not regulated in any way, right? So ultimately we almost have to police ourselves. Yeah. So we have to call out the bullshit. If there's a coach doing something, and it's beyond just they're not a great coach, because like you can't really call people out for that, right? If they're doing illegal things and scamming their clients or whatever else, then they should absolutely be called out for it.
I agree. Now the issue is the people who can do the calling out and the people who consort with many of these people in many instances, like with Joe Stanek, he was boys with Steve Denovi and Marcellus and all these guys and so on and so forth, and they never called them out.
Yeah,
and much to the contrary, my calling them out by them has been besmirched. those circles, they talk shit about me for calling these people out.
I know.
You have to think about the fucking mental gymnastics that are taking place here. These are people causing injury to your own fucking craft, to your own trade. And instead of you outing them yourself and doing so behind the scenes even, to stop this from happening with them, what do? You fucking allow it to take place.
Mm-hmm. You would think someone, who perceives themselves as such a high and mighty, person would behind the scenes try to nip that in the bud and say, "Hey, man, like this is
The bigger issue I find here basically is just how apathetic they are towards all this shit. How much they acquiesce to this stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm implying.
So these are the people we're talking about. They are that presenting themselves as a morally upright people. Christian this, Christian that, God this, God that, putting literal fucking scriptures out in their fucking bios and the fucking comment sections of their stories and so on and so forth. Having fucking church chats. And when it comes down to actually taking action to protect their flock and the flock around them, they do fucking nothing. In fact, they work opposite of this.
Yeah. Their behaviors absolutely do not reflect the things that they espouse.
And I'm just like, I'm just out there joking around, like fucking, like my bullshit story calls, so the case happens to be, and somehow I have more moral fiber, more testicular fortitude than these people do. It's a bit of an issue. You know what I mean? It just, not for nothing else, but it's fucking corny. It's fucking corny. Just fucking do the right thing by people, bro.
I agree.
Yeah, and if somebody's doing the right fucking thing, and you're choosing to fucking turn a blind eye towards this with them, maybe shut the fuck up. Honestly, there's so much more I can get into this and whatnot. Like I found out like other things behind the scenes and the whole fake natty situation and blah blah and that kind of stuff. But I'm fucking sick and tired of it, man. People fucking put on a facade in powerlifting, and it's fucking bullshit. The most ironic thing of all is I had one lifter who I worked with for a while, had a phenomenal meet, 9 for 9, like all-time records, that kind of shit. Out in the Texas region, fucking like went out there, handled me, yada yada. And then they decided to take a break from powerlifting coaching for me, and then ended up picking up Joe Stanek as a coach. And I told this person, this is what's going to take place. You can go with anybody else but him because of what I know, and so on and so forth. And then he got scammed. This person is one of the people who I bring up when I speak to Joe about paying them back.
Mm-hmm.
So despite that fucking, if you want to call it betrayal and whatnot, I'm still vouching for them.
And where is this person now?
What do you mean?
Where's the lifter now? What are they doing?
Still
lifting. Now they picked up Sean Noriega. It tells you a lot.
It absolutely does.
When it comes down to doing good, you don't do so because of any incentive. You do so because basically you're driven to do so because it's part of who we are, because it's our responsibility as people to take care of each other. That's how I feel. I picked up the line of work. I do what I do for a reason. I run into burning buildings and whatnot. I've destroyed my fucking shoulder just recently at a fire and whatnot. And it's something I don't have to do, but I choose to do. It's because of, I don't know. I mean, I'm compelled to fucking help. Yeah. My question is, why aren't more people compelled to do that?
I mean, while I don't, save people from fires or anything, what compelled me to get into fitness and personal training and ultimately coaching was being able to help transform people's lives, and like, especially like when I first started out as like a trainer, working with people, that fitness had transformed my own life so much, that I was like, I wanted, and I feel like that's how a lot of people get into it. They want to do, they want others to have that experience. And yeah, man, like, I just ultimately want to help people, and that's why I got into this. So absolutely speaks to what you were just saying, and not exactly sure where I was going at that, but yeah.
No, I get the gist of it.
Yeah.
So that's it. 3 of us here. Who are our scumbags of the year?
You want to? Can we each vote from 1 to 4?
Yes. Yeah. Your own little ranking. Rank. 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Okay.
Who's the fifth one?
Haddad, Joe Sullivan. Yeah.
Haddad, JoJo, Ashton, Nico. Okay.
Yes.
So, I think I'll start from number 5. Number 5, I'll put Joe Stanek, I think. Number 4, now it's getting tough. Number 4, I'll give it to, man. I mean, I guess I'll give it to Nico just because the whole thing was settled and Jeff got paid, so it was a happy ending. Number 3, man. Number 3, 2, 1, they're all the same. That's it. 3, 2, 1. And number 3 are probably gonna be Joe Sullivan, probably. And number 2 and 1, it's really hard because they actually, yeah, they're. I think they're both equally as bad for different reasons. Because one of them just scammed charities that were doing, like, that were there for a good cause, and the other person is just basically a really bad creep with some other tendencies that we cannot really confirm because there's
Yeah.
not enough evidence. But yeah, so that's my rating.
I think for me, number 5 would be Nico, only because Jeff did get paid back. Number 4 would be Stanek, just because he has shown some promise to, right his wrongs. We'll see how that goes. I think number 3 is Joe Sullivan, just because he's just very weird, and a lot of the things he does really weird. It's not, but it's whatever. Number 2, I hate to put Two Buff in number 2, but we don't have good evidence. We know that he's an absolute creep, and he does some also fucking very weird things.
No, we have the evidence.
There's some evidence, but in terms of like yes, that's fair. There is evidence. I shouldn't say there isn't. Yeah, so no, you're right.
We actually spoke to Elizabeth. We've heard from the person firsthand what took place.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't say that there is
her choosing to not speak upon this anymore because the powers that be fucking conspired to come against her, by the way. It's a different thing altogether.
You know what? That's fair. I think then that's fair. I am not as privy to the details as you are, because I know that you were handling that personally, or trying to handle that personally. It's like I almost want to slide him into first place for that.
But then
because I guess I don't know, Kate Haddad, like, ripping off charities, very just despicable behavior. As far as we know with that situation, was there any people like physically harmed there?
Well, which situation?
Like the Kate Haddad, like.
Yes, wasn't this the charity of her friend?
Yeah, so it was a suicide charity for her friend who essentially, I guess, like, babysat her kids. So Susan Sonima had a close rapport with her, was a member of their church, the Rockwell group, whatever the case is.
This is a tough one, man.
You might have to compromise like me. I don't know.
I think I might just agree with Mateo that they.
It's like different reasons, but like you can't.
Yeah, I know it's really hard to. Oh man,
it's tough.
Yeah,
it's very tough.
I mean, top 2 it's pretty bad anyway.
They did some great work to get up there. The try.
So a tie, right?
Let's say we can go with the tie for first place.
So for me, 5th place is going to be Joe Stanek. He's basically showing some remorse, like, actively. He's made a post about it, talk about it as well. I want to say it's probably a very tepid post, not as detailed as I would like to have seen it. And I understand when it comes to these situations, making these mistakes, and fucking, like, going on record about this and so on and so forth can be bad even for legal purposes and that kind of shit, correct? Can potentially make you culpable. I understand. That said, I think it still needs to be done because the fact is it did take place, particularly if you want to continue within the setting of powerlifting. From what he's told me, of his own accord, I've heard one-on-one. This isn't a third party telling me this is what he said, but from him himself, he's taking steps to make this better. All right, so that's a good thing. So for that reason, I'd say basically the fact that he showed some remorse and he's actually taking steps to make this better. Number 5. Number 4, because he did pay him back, would be Nico Flores. His impact, his negative impact and whatnot on the overall industry is minimal. I want to say maybe some issues like coaching here and there and so on and so forth, but the individual impact is fucking quite pronounced. When you have a person uproot their lives and move over to the other side of the fucking country and then fucking tell them they're liable for the expenses they have to deal with now, after moving out there on your behest, after you making promises for employment and gainship and stealing money from them, that's an issue. So I don't know. I mean, maybe number 3. When I think about it, and number 4 in that case. Or number 3, it's tough to differentiate here because now we have Joe Sullivan as well as the next person, and Joe Sullivan, his impact, his reach in the powerlifting industry and whatnot rivals none. I want to say he's one of the people you think about when you think of powerlifting. Instead of him showing a spine and doing right by other people, so on and so forth, it seems like he may have turned a leaf of late, right?
Maybe.
So maybe I might put Joe Sullivan at number 4. I might put him 4. The timbre of his posts of late has changed. He has some very shitty takes, per usual. Like, he was very cut and dry. This is the answer. That's the answer. Like, fucking, like, rage bait fucking post where no one's like, oh no, but this is what they're telling you, but it's not the truth. And then he finishes up and he's saying, but maybe, there's some differences. Maybe it doesn't work for you. So maybe he's learned something from this, right? It's not, I don't know, man. He does the same thing over and over, so it's tough to delineate between 4 and 3. But I guess 4 is Nico, 3 is Joe Sullivan. 2 and 1 is very tough. We're dealing with predators now. Like actual predators. We're dealing with people who are con artists. Actual con artists. People who will connive you, gaslight you, manipulate you. People who will undermine your suspicions of their wrongdoings and will cast that out to other people out there saying it's their fault. I'm the victim here. We're dealing with cut and dry sociopaths. The impact on an individual level, individual scale here is abhorrent when it comes down to what Kate Haddad did to Susan Sanima and her son's foundation, which is, it's crazy. I get emotional thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I'd say that's unrivaled. I'm gonna say. The differences I may have with Ashton and that kind of stuff, they don't come close to the issues that I have with Kate Haddad and what she did to Susan Sanima because of what happened with Mike.
Fair enough.
It's tough. It really is tough. I'd say Kate Haddad is number 1, and at number 2 I put fucking Ashton. Deplorable fucking people, fucking shitty human beings, and the fact that we have this list of 5 people here, and that these 5 people, maybe boring Joe Stanek and whatnot, are still active members of the powerlifting fucking scene, tells you a lot about powerlifting. It tells you a lot about the people who are in the leadership of powerlifting. And how fucking absolutely fucking useless they are to take care of the people who they fucking cater to. So I don't know. I mean, I've been of quite a few minds about powerlifting of late and whatnot. This has a lot to do with it. It's fucking insane. It's the most insidious fucking shit. We fucking suck as a sport because of this shit.
I can't imagine though that similar things don't exist in other sort of recreational sports like
maybe
weightlifting or strongman or
maybe, but we are
CrossFit.
We are a smaller community, and we are all aware of the ongoings that are taking place right now. And in addition to that, we also have that much more fucking power to take care of these ongoings and to make an impact, to make a difference. And people are choosing to not do so. How many of the people out there call themselves good Christians, right? And when I speak to them about the abuses of Joe Sullivan, when I speak to them about the abuses of Tuba for this and so on and so forth, they're still interacting with their fucking accounts. They're still growing their clout. They're growing their presence. They're lending their energy to support these people. Meantime, actively bad-mouthing me behind the scenes. I've seen the screenshots. I've seen the chats, and I get it. Maybe I look like some fucking person out there who's fucking clout hungry, whatever the case happens to be. But it's up to them to view it how they want, to how they choose to do so, to fucking to make themselves sleep better at night. You are still condoning the actions of a fucking deplorable human being, while taking a person who's actually doing something to make the fucking situation right and fucking trying to put them down. Think about that. So I don't know. It's wild. I'm of many different minds about the industry currently, and it just I feel it's in need of an overhaul. It's in need of fucking like some self-exploration, that kind of shit. I want to say it mirrors what's happening currently in American politics. And if American politics are an indication as to what to expect in powerlifting, my expectations are very low.
Ooh. Same.
Meantime, I fucking cater to my people. I take care of them as best I can. And do what I can. Do whatever right I can to them with the people, I guess, who join the team and that kind of stuff. I join our team. And it's great to see the continued success. It's a lot. It's a lot to fucking deal with all this fucking shit. But yeah. So that's my list. It's crazy that these people are still out there. I'm not gonna lie, it bewilders me.
Trust me. Me too.
If I was any of these individuals, I'd be hiding under a fucking rock.
Oh,
Same.
They tried it for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, some of them.
Yeah.
Right back.
Yeah, a news cycle. But yeah, so I think that about wraps it up, right, guys?
I think so as well.
I think so.
So to the viewer audience, thank you guys again for showing up. and for your continued support and for your engagement and that kind of stuff, and DMs, messages in the comments that I receive from you guys, whatnot. You guys rock, legit. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
I guess this wraps it up for 2024.
Yep.
Let's see what's in store for us in 2025.
Hell yeah.
All right.
With that,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.